Welcome to Type C Tech Reviews. Today we're going to be unboxing this Corsair Xenon 32-inch Ultra HD monitor. If at any point during the video you want to check out this exact same monitor, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links. Let's get this thing unboxed. Let me just say, my first Corsair monitor ever, so I'm excited about this. Let's see what they mess up. Let's see what they get right. This is a front opening one, so it should be very easy to unbox. All right, big question, is that awesome stand metal or is it plastic? Let's see. Right away, great packaging. This was a heavy box. I know it's a 32-inch, but it's heavy. Oh, and I think it's metal. Now that is substantially bigger than I thought that it was going to be. This is a large stand. It even says Corsair on the bottom. Listen to this. That is, okay, so this, nope, that's also metal. It's just black. Oh wait, no, that's the top. Okay, this is the top. One of the coolest stands, if not the coolest stand that we have ever seen, but it still goes together. Looks like a normal stand from every other monitor. You got a high quality thumb screw there in the bottom, a bunch of rubber everywhere. This has got to be the coolest stand we've ever seen on the channel before. Okay, then continuing on in the box, we've got the other side of the stand right here. Let's get this out. This also feels nice and heavy, high quality. This feels on par as far as material wise, just from its heft, and it doesn't shake. I'm getting Alienware vibes right now. That's kind of the quality that we're kind of seeing here. And oh my God, this is, if they mess everything else up for this monitor, they have not messed up the stand, because this is one of the nicest stands I think we've ever seen. Okay, so we got a ton of stuff that's Corsair logos everywhere. Is this not the most interesting cable management system we've ever seen before? Those come out and then these go up and down. Wow, that is extremely cool. And then you can literally fully open these up to get more cables in there. This is awesome. And you can take them out. You can add as many as you want. We'll see how this actually works in real life practice, but this looks amazing. I also wanted to say, this is solid metal. This is solid metal. Every other monitor company, including Dell, Alienware, LG, this is all plastic. This is metal. This is metal. This is plastic. There's a little bit of plastic here. There's a little bit of plastic there. Metal, obviously, and plastic in there. But all of these, I mean, this looks very solid. Let's put it together. I'm very, very excited for this one. The stand, it's quite heavy, but oh my God, does it look cool. All right, stand is together. Oh my God, this is so cool. All right, also in the box, we have the power brick. This is a pretty normal sized power brick. So opening this up, this thing is right around $1,000. That puts it in direct competition with LG's brand new GQ 950-B. Now, even though the 950-B is listed for $1,300, it's $1,000. I've only ever seen it be $1,000. This is the exact same price. Now, this stand is way better, okay? So they're winning there. But the panel is what matters more than anything, and LG has probably the most amount of experience making IPS gaming monitors than anyone else in the industry. Corsair just released their first monitor not too long ago. I think less than a year, or maybe just a year. So we'll see how many things they mess up or they get right. I'm excited. Also in the box, we have the other end of that power cable right here. So in total, we got a good length for power cable. Ooh, good sign, USB Type-C cable, which the GQ 950 did not have, which is something that I noted. We also have when that says ultra high speed, it usually means HDMI 2.1. So an HDMI 2.1 cable, a DisplayPort cable, and then a USB to USB Type-C. That's pretty cool to see, probably for charging, I would assume. Then we got some screws, probably for VESA mounting, which is nice. You got your warranty, which I did actually see on the box, 3-year warranty, not bad. That's also pretty in line with the competition, but let's take this out, and there is the panel. All right, we got some good stuff going on. They make it easy to take it out with this. You can't believe how many companies get that wrong. So all you got to do is line these top pins up right there. Man, this is a heavy stand. Get the plastic out of the way, line those up, press it down. Oh, so the screws were not for VESA mounting. This is not a clip-in stand, okay? $1,000 and you don't get a clip-in stand? Are you kidding me? All right, I'm gonna let it pass a little bit because this is a very cool stand, but that's weird. All right, so you gotta open up these, get those screws out. This was a perfect unboxing experience until this point. You might think that's small. This is $1,000 that you're spending. I don't think I've ever used another monitor, maybe like from Samsung, but that's not a good thing if I'm comparing it to Samsung. Okay, the first thing they got wrong, but it's okay. Not a big deal. All right, now after screwing it in, what the heck, pulling this out, and that's a big 32-inch screen size. Let's pull this up. Get a look at that panel. Got the Xenon there, the 32UHD. I find that hilarious that that's the name. They actually don't have a name. I am being very critical of this monitor But I'm gonna be critical with one more thing. Corsair's naming game, it's not very good. Let's get this on the desk and check out some of the stuff. So it's heavy, but I think it's a lot of the weight comes from the stand, which is not a bad thing. On the desk, this is incredibly solid. One of the most solid monitors that we've ever tested. Corsair logo back there. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. I really like a lot of stuff here. Corsair logo is nice and it's not in your face. Here, we have something that we never almost never see. Rounded edges. I'm getting iPhone 6 vibes here. Not a bad thing. We got our lockdown there, which no one ever uses. We have that cool classic Corsair design up here. This is gonna be airflow. Let's look under here. We got our 3.5mm headphone jack over here. 2 HDMIs, I believe that those are 2.1s. We got our display port. We got our Type-C, which is great. And then we got a USB, this is the USB-C upstream port. And then it looks like we got a USB Type-C for display, maybe? And then we got USB 3.0s, looks like we got 2 of them and a power in. So a lot of good stuff going on here. We got a bad thing going on here. So I'm gonna say this, design team, watch the video, take notes. I like this dedicated power button. I like that the joystick is how you're gonna control this. This also feels like a nice joystick. Don't put it over here. Put it down here. The problem is, if you have 2 of these side by side, you can't use this. Now, if you wanna do a slightly better design, put it down here. But think about this. You're not gonna be able to get your hand over this way. So if you have a dual monitor setup, you can't get to that. That's bad. Not a big deal though. Let's turn this around. I cannot tell you how solid this monitor feels though. Of all the bad things that I've said, they're really nitpicky. So far, very nitpicky, and a lot of other companies make bigger mistakes like Samsung. All right, we got this little sticker, which we're gonna take off, although we're having sticky issues. All right, there we go. We got a little plastic right here, and it looks clean. I do wanna say the bezels are really cool because they're rounded. It's got rounded edges, which honestly looks so good. The design of this, almost all monitors will have squared off edges. This has rounded edges. It feels and looks, it just looks modern. I mean, we're definitely going back to more rounded design elements for everything in architecture, in vehicles, in tech in general. We've gone back to that rounded off rather than a squared off, and this is following that and it looks really good. This stand is unbelievably beautiful, but that's enough talking. You can tell I'm excited about this unboxing. Let's get this plugged in, do an initial impressions, go through that menu system, which I've never used before, which is very exciting. I'm a big menu system guy. Then we're gonna do a gaming test and a ghosting test. Let's do it. All right, now that it's all plugged in, we did forget to do one thing. I got carried away in my excitement. We didn't check the stand out for adjustability. So we got height quite a bit. We've got a lot of tilt both ways. We have, wow, a lot of swivel. And does it have rotation? It doesn't look like it has rotation. No rotation. But oh my God, a lot of every movement. I'm sorry, this is like beautiful. This is like stunning. Okay, let's turn this on. We got a power button, pretty easy to find because it's totally different shape, so that's good. A little light there, which honestly looks cheesy and cheap, but that stand looks unbelievably good. All right, right off the bat, first impressions, the bezels are bigger than I expected, but probably about the same as the GQ950, maybe a little bit bigger. Let's go into the menu system right away. Okay, not what I expected, but not terrible. Okay, so right off the bat, we've got the picture settings over here. This is actually not bad. It's clear, it's concise, but it's not pretty. It's at 30% brightness. Let's turn this thing all the way up. That's getting bright. That's pretty bright. That's quite vibrant. For $1,000, we expect that. All right, let's keep going. Sharpness, color temperature, gamma, saturation. We got an eye saver, response time. See, I don't like how that just shifts. I wish I could just see every setting. So that's annoying, and it's annoying that it just continues and it doesn't max out at like the fastest or then the slowest. We have an MPRT, which is most likely your motion blur reduction kind of thing. Local dimming, we have it. Is this going to be the same? Is this like 16 zones? We're gonna check the local dimming right away. Well, the local dimming I can tell you is working. It's aggressive. All right, the local dimming is terrible. It looks like it's like 16 or 32 zones. It's even worse from initial impressions, but that's not where you're getting this monitor. We expected that. Keep the local dimming off, doesn't make any difference. All right, continuing on with the menu system, it is very quick. That is something that I am impressed with. It's quick and fast to change things. You have crosshairs up there. These are the OSD settings, that's kind of cool. We have our FreeSync Premium. We have the LED, we're gonna turn that off, that's ugly. Auto source detection, very good. We have audio. Does this have audio? I don't believe so. Nope, no audio, so no internal speakers, but pretty much expected. And then we got our input source information. It's currently at 60 hertz. We've got, it shows us HDR is off, but overall a basic menu system, but it's to the point, and that's important, that's good. We also have the different picture settings right here, which again, not the best layout. This needs to be changed. This is not consumer friendly or consumer oriented. We have the movie sRGB, that's a nice touch. Creative, game, DCI-P3, a nice touch again. Adobe RGB, very nice. And then we got standard. We're gonna leave it as standard for today. And let's go right into the display settings because I know this is not at full refresh rate. All right, putting this all the way to 144 hertz. There we go, nice and smooth. Let's go into the control panel. Can this output 10 bits of color, 12 bits as expected. This panel, I don't know too much about it, but I'm going to assume this was probably sourced from LG, and this is probably the exact same panel as the GQ 950-B. We've probably got 32 local dimming zones, which is here and there, top and bottom, so not full array. We've got 12 bits of color in HDR 600. Let's see how this thing games. Let's do it. Okay, switched into HDR. Battlefield Auto switches into HDR. That's fine. So I guess we're gonna test this out in HDR. Halfway through, we'll switch it into, well, SDR, not HDR. One thing to note, when you're in HDR, this turns on local dimming, which is interesting. In HDR, so it automatically switches all these settings. You can adjust brightness, right? That's pretty typical. You can still do response time, but we're gonna turn local dimming off because it sucks. All right, in game right away, I mean, it's unbelievably clear. It's very, I mean, this is very nice. This is very similar to the GQ 950. I would be surprised if this isn't sourced from LG. I mean, it's beautiful, it's smooth. This is HDR. The brightness is basically perfect for this room, which is very well lit at this point. It's an IPS panel, so obviously you're not getting crazy deep blacks, but what you are getting, I mean, you're not getting anything that's blown out. It's handling all detail very well, and it's staying crystal clear because it's 4K. And it's 32 inches, and 4K at 32 inches is absolutely perfect. You're kind of wasting it. I just came from a 27-inch 4K panel, so this is very nice. The colors on this are good in HDR, more muted than other things. It looks a little bit more natural, which I actually don't mind. However, the GQ 950, from what I remember, was definitely more of a saturated experience in HDR. Now, can that be changed in the menu system? Let's see. We got presets, HDR, nope. So you can't change the preset in HDR, that's fine. System, nope. So in HDR, it doesn't look like you have any control over anything except like sharpness and stuff like that. Let's take this out of the HDR now. I'm just gonna say this right away. A little bit strange, way more vibrant. Like very vibrant. This doesn't look accurate. The HDR looked more accurate, but this is prettier for gaming. I mean, look at these pink flowers. This is incredibly vibrant. The HDR experience is muted. Is that a bad thing? I don't know, but I can tell you right away, the HDR is not a super saturated HDR experience, at least in Battlefield, obviously, right? Obviously, that'll be in the full review to see if this is, an issue overall, because look at this. I mean, this is beautiful. This is definitely something where I'm gonna be using SDR and probably not using HDR almost at all, if all other games are like this. I've played a lot of Battlefield. I think I know like how the HDR works. So I don't think it is Battlefield doing this. I think it's this monitor that's just a little bit different here, which is not a good thing because I think the HDR is inaccurate. But overall, this is absolutely stunning. I think the HDR is a major flaw. And if you're comparing the GQ 950 to this, you better love this stand and you better know that you're not gonna be using HDR almost at all. But again, full review. This is gonna be a very long unboxing. Let's do the ghosting test now. Let's go down to the overdrive response time settings right there. It is in dynamic OD, which may be the fastest. We're getting some ghosting here, definitely more than other things, but let's change this out. So dynamic OD, we've got a little bit of ghosting, possibly some inverse ghosting, although it doesn't look like it. Normal, we got a lot of ghosting for a panel that's this expensive. That's an IPS panel. That's a lot. Fast, still quite a bit. Faster, less. Fastest, we still have some ghosting there. Dynamic OD it looks like an indistinguishable difference between fastest and dynamic OD. So I'm assuming dynamic OD is the fastest. The good thing here is we're not seeing pixel overshooting or inverse ghosting, but there's no possible way that this is better than basically every other brand that makes a 32-inch 4K high refresh rate display. is this better than LG's panel? The HDR is worse. The response time tuning, the ghosting is just, it's worse. Does this make an actual difference in gameplay? As far as ghosting, it's so small that honestly, no. But at this point, why wouldn't you just have the better one? So I think the big difference here that we're going to definitely dive into in the full review, subscribe below if you want to see it coming in a few days or a week, is the HDR. That's going to be the deciding factor between this and the GQ950. But this stand is like a damn statue. It is unbelievably beautiful. All right, again, if you want to check this out for yourself, I will link it below to Amazon for the US, UK, Canada, and international links. I'll also link the GQ950 so you can kind of compare the stats yourself before I have the full review, because obviously I'll be doing that in the video. This is gonna be a fun one. I'm gonna say I'm impressed with some things. The HDR kind of is going to be interesting. But overall, a beautiful panel. You can't go wrong with a 32-inch 4K high refresh rate display. You just can't do it. Is the GQ950 better? My feeling right now is yes, but we'll have to see. This stand, though, that's a good stand. All right, this was Type-C Tech Reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next video.